of Houston to go play somewhere else, right? And everybody was raving about his character, how him being a good guy and a philanthropist and all the other stuff like that in the vicinity of that area where he was, the Texans. All of a sudden now, all these women are coming out saying he's sexually assaulting them and etc. I do find it very, very weird. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How you doing? Good evening. I'm here with Tyrone and Hollister. Unfortunately, Melon couldn't make it with us today, so he'll pick up with it next time. But continuing from where we left off the last time, I believe we talked about Myers Leonard, and trade deadline is up next week, so there's quite a bit of moves that happened. He was traded from the Miami Heat to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they're about to waive him. Now, I was briefly talking to Tyrone, and before we even started with this, and we were just talking about this. Like I said in the last video, I'm not opposed to him getting the second chance. You know what I'm saying? Like I believe that we all deserve second chances in life. Like, people make mistakes, people need to learn from them, and of course you have to deal with the consequences, but to kind of like end this kid's career, I don't think is necessary. However, he did do what he did, and he did say what he had to say, so he has to deal with that. So I just wanted to give the guys opportunity just to talk on that before we continue to move forward.
So Miles Leonard gets traded coincidentally after all of this happens. I'm not surprised, really, being that the owner is Jewish, and for him to make those statements and the backlash that he's gotten over having made those statements, knowing that he plays for a Jewish owner, it was almost a matter of when was he going to get traded or released or something. And they ended up picking up Trevor Ariza and a second round pick. So I guess, they just had to do it. So we'll figure out what the future holds for him. But right now, he probably get released, and that's that.
Yeah.
He's just going to have to go. He's just going to have to sit down and reevaluate the things he's saying in life.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with Tyrone 100%. I feel that, he has to deal with the consequences. Right now, he wasn't really playing. A lot of things was going on. So he has to, he made his bed, he got to lay in it. What I also would like to say is that, and I was going to get into this later on after, Hollister says his piece. But, my thing with him is that you have to understand one thing is like, it's a similar situation like with Kurt Franklin recently. I know that's not sports related, but Kurt Franklin, if those of you who might have heard him, he's like one of these, like he's like the P. Diddy to me of gospel music. That's how I kind of consider him. Like he has his group, he does his music, and he's like
that's the perfect comparison.
Exactly. So he like the Puff Daddy of like gospel music. And recently he had an issue with his son, and him and his son was going at it, and his son recorded him cursing them out. Now, I'm a Christian. We all grew up in Christian households. We believe in God and stuff like that. We have the faith. But, a lot of times people feel that because you're part of the Christian faith, that makes you perfect. That makes you like holier than other people. And I don't want to go that route and say that. I feel that we all human beings. We all, make mistakes. However, when you are a Christian, you try to live that lifestyle. You try to do things to, represent God in a certain way. Right. And meaning that you try, like the spirit will help you. Like, for instance, I used to curse a lot when I was younger. I stopped cursing because of the whole situation. Hold on one second. Yeah, good. So I stopped cursing the whole situation. Like, it's just the spirit came to me, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing that. And I don't want to dive too much into like the religious faith, but I say all this to say, similar to the Miles Leonard, is that people were like dogging Kurt Franklin to a certain degree. And a lot of people understood because it's like his son was wilding, so they kind of understood it. But a lot of people trying to use that as a catalyst, like, to judge his character, like, oh, he's not really a Christian, he's fake, he's phony. It's like, no, he's not fake and phony. We all have moments, and that's because somebody is cursing out their kid and doing certain things doesn't mean that they don't love the Lord and don't believe in it. So I'm just trying to say that and kind of parlay that with Myers Leonard situation, is that he said what he said, even though I 100% believe that he said it being like a malicious way, but not in the way of trying to hurt Jewish people, but in a malicious way of trying to insult someone. And he utilized that word knowing that it was a bad word and did it on purpose. And I feel that he has to pay for that. And he's going through that right now. We'll see what happens, and we'll take it from there.
About Myers Leonard before I had my technical difficulties. I said he went from a team that was just in the NBA Finals to now saying that stupid slick remark to now being on a team that's piling up draft picks, and who said that he's not part of the immediate future. So, in a sense, this is good for him. It might end his career. If it does, it sucks. But you got to learn from your mistakes. Sometimes you just got to keep your mouth shut on certain things, or do your research on things before
Yeah.
you speak out of character.
Yeah. I mean, with that being said, I agree. I do think it's like in the society right now, where we live in right now, the climate. I don't want to say it's overly sensitive, even though it is to a certain degree. Like there's certain shows that we watched when we was growing up. There's certain, cartoons we watched when we was growing up that if they were to play those cartoons now or those shows now, we'll have a lot of people being
It,
canceled per se. So
it
it's a weird dynamic. I do agree that there's certain things that we need to be held accountable for, especially when it comes to like hate speech and stuff like that. And I saw you raise your hand, Tyrone, so I'll give you a second to go in. But I just
that
feel
that was
that
that was an accident.
okay. But I feel like that is the climate now. That's what's going on now, and I feel that eventually we're gonna have to start addressing these things because it's like we're living in a time now where a lot of things are unacceptable. Like we were just talking about it earlier. There's a lot of jokes that we make with each other. We might call each other certain names and being funny and stuff like that. But we know that it's all out of love amongst each other. But if somebody else might hear that, they might be offended by it or take it a certain kind of way. So you have to be cognizant of what you're doing and what you're saying because, like you said, like you don't know who's watching you as far as a point of like being a role model. You don't know who's watching as far as somebody who might take that the wrong way. And it's like you have to be conscious of your surroundings and other human beings. You know what I mean? I do feel that as a society we get to a point that every little thing is offensive to certain people. So there are going to be certain things that like for instance, I might chew my gum too hard and somebody might get offended by that. And then all of a sudden there's a gum movement. You know what I mean? And I know I'm exaggerating, but I'm just trying to say there's little things like that. And I feel that certain things, you can't please everybody, but there's certain core values and certain core things that we need to stick with as a society. So like being, racist and saying this different things. Like look what happened to the Asian woman who got killed in Atlanta, you know what I mean? And different things like that. Like these things are unacceptable because people are not being held accountable for their actions and thinking that saying certain racial things or looking at certain people in a certain kind of racial light is okay. So we need to address that. Not saying that Miles Leonard is a racist. I don't know the man personally, but I'm just trying to say what he said is not a good look. So hopefully, like you said, Hollister and Tyrone, he's gonna learn from this. I don't think he should lose his career from it, but he's gonna have to deal with it because there's a lot of players out there, a lot of people out there who are Jewish or who sympathize and empathize with Jewish people and who empathize with just racial issues in general that bought his stuff or supported him and paid to see the tickets and watch his games that he got money off of. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. He has to deal with that. Unless you guys got something else to say on that, I want to switch gears to the second topic that I feel that needs to be addressed. I'm going to speak very, vaguely on this topic because, like I said, I'm not 100% a football person, and also I don't know the full story behind this Deshaun Watson situation. But I'm going to say this piece: I'm not excusing if he is guilty of any of these things. I'm not excusing it at all. If he violated these women and did something to harm them and try to be like a borderline rapist, then yes, then he needs to pay for his crimes. So let's get that out the way. But I do feel that it's very ironic that the moment the man is trying to leave this organization, leave the city of Houston to go play somewhere else, right? And everybody was raving about his character, how him being a good guy and a philanthropist and all this other stuff like that in the vicinity of that area where he was, the Texans. All of a sudden now all these women are coming out saying he is sexually assaulting them and etc. I do find it very, very weird and very, very funny that the timing of this is coming out now. And I do feel that it's more of a character, thing. Like they say, yeah, you want to leave us? We're going to do this and try to like bash his character as opposed to something that is genuine. I could be wrong, but that's how I'm taking it. So Tyrone and Hollister, y'all can go ahead.
So I was hearing on ESPN Sportsnet the other day, Deshaun Watson was talking about it. I think at this time it was like one or three people at the time. And he said a lady texted him saying that she will drop everything if she settled for like a six-figure settlement. She will drop everything and leave her alone. Now, the other day, now they're saying there's up to 10 women that's saying he has sexually assaulted them and this and that. So it's just like I agree with you, Michael, to a point. You feel like they sabotaging him because he don't want to play for the Texans no more. He's 25 years old. He done a ton of things for the city. Even when they recently had the whole snowstorm, he fed a whole bunch of people. He gave back to the whole city. I've been to this city before. It's a very nice city. The people there are fairly nice, but we all know in every city has some people that wicked people. But I don't. The NFL should really investigate it. I hope it's not true because Deshaun Watson is a great football player, and it's kind of like you said, Mike. It's ironic that now that he want to leave, all this stuff pops up. I feel like, in a way, the owner could be setting this up to sabotage his whole career, because I guess he figured, oh, he's demanded a trade. He don't want to play. They like, oh, you don't want to play? Well, you're not going to have no career because he's still under contract with them. I forgot for how many years, and he's owed a lot of money. So they could potentially be trying to sabotage him with all these sexual assault accusations. Hopefully it's not true. Hopefully the NFL do the investigation to find out, and hopefully he's innocent. But until then, we just got to wait and see and hope he's actually innocent.
Exactly. Tyrone?
Yeah, last season he signed an extension. I think it's like 4 or 5 years, and he got a full no trade clause. So that's why they're like going against him with the whole trade request, because he pretty much asked for a full no trade, and now 1 season later he's asking for one. So it's a little tricky there. I'm praying he gets traded because one of the teams he preferred to go to is my 49ers.
Of course.
So I would take him in a heartbeat and send Jimmy Garoppolo back to Bill Belichick. But this situation, now we've gone down this road already with sexual harassment and stuff, the Weinsteins, the R. Kellys, the Bill Cosbys. It's always one or two, and then everybody else come out the woodworks. Those situations there seem to have some truth to it. So, although the Bill Cosby one, I know I'm not a politically correct person, so I like to speak my mind. I'm still a little iffy on Bill Cosby's situation. I'm not saying that all the women that the situation happened to wasn't true. There seems to be some truth in some of it, but all of it, I don't believe it. I don't care what anybody says. R. Kelly, I believed every single thing there. The Weinstein thing, same thing. But with Deshaun, this is weird because he's going to the spa. He's getting these massages. Now, I'm from New York. We're from Brooklyn. And they're all over the world. But they have these places in the spas where they do certain things that they call certain things. And when I first heard this, I assumed, well, he went to those places and had those things happen. And I guess these women are trying to come up. I guess they found out who he is. And like Michael said, it could be a little setup with the organization and people, he wanting to leave Houston. And it could be a situation where they're like trying to sabotage him. I find it hard to believe that 10 people all of a sudden after one. Now, if it was 1 or 2, I would say, yo, there's a problem here. But the more and more people that come out and say stuff, the more and more I lean towards Watson. Because now it's almost like, all right, you're just saying, he looked at me funny. I'm going to file sexual harassment on him. A lot of it is probably that. Like, he probably tried to talk to the girl. The girl didn't want to give him no play. And he probably cursed the girl out. So she probably was like, okay, I remember that time when he was nasty to me that way, and decided to put sexual harassment. Who knows? But it's just too many people makes me start to believe that he had nothing to do with any of that. And like I said before, they have places where they do those things for you in the spa. So I assume that that's probably where he was at. I hope that for this young kid that this is none of this is true, because I'll look bad because I'm fully 100% defending him. But I just hope this is not true, and people need to look in the mirror. If this is not true, these women need to look in the mirror and ask themselves, this is what you want to be as a grown woman. And if he happens to be at fault, he needs to look in the mirror, like wondering, like, did you really think this would not come out? Like, you couldn't be that dumb to think this would not come out. And I just hope that he because he's a superstar in the league. I just hope that this is not true. And because look, you guys just said it. One woman said, I'll let this go all the way for a 6-figure check. So what is it now? Like, these girls found out he's famous, and now all of a sudden they want to, get paid off of him. So, we'll see, man. I just hope it's not true.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like this, to speak on what you're saying. And I want to be very clear with my words, because I know I might go on a slight tangent, and I don't want people to think I'm not a misogynist. I'm not a sexist. I do believe that women have every right to protect themselves. I have a daughter. My cousin has a daughter. You know what I'm saying? We have mothers, sisters, wives, and stuff like that. So I don't believe in taking advantage of women. So let's just get that out the way. And then when we get to the next topic, you'll see what we're talking about. But for too long, there have been a lot of cases where there are grimy women who go out there, and because these athletes are around, they take advantage of them and do these different things. Now, I remember there was a post, and I know you don't have social media at the time, but there was a post many years ago when they put like, oh, should a woman who lied about a guy raping her and ruin like their career as of an athlete, should they go to jail if the person is found innocent and the person was lying? And I said, absolutely. And all that. Some people was feeling like, well, maybe not. Like, I feel
let me cut into that.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
Yes.
Because that's just as much as a crime as if he did do it. Now, when I say that, I don't mean, oh, it's just as devastating as if he literally does it. I'm saying that too is a crime, because you're lying under oath and they find out it's not true, and because you ruined this guy's reputation.
Yeah.
Like when you use the word rape or sexual assault, that sticks with a person for the rest of their lives, even if they're found not guilty.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with that.
And a lot of them go to jail they do time for no reason, and then the years later, when I was just lying about the whole thing, it's like he can't get those years back. So it's like they really need to be locked up for that. Yeah.
So I say all that to say that's to set the tone. I look at it like Tyron talking about the spot. I'm going to be a little bit more direct with it. People, y'all see it on the movies and see it on the TV or cartoons being funny, get a happy ending, whatever. And y'all can look up what a happy ending at a spa is and what it details.
I tried to.
I'm just saying. I know what you're saying. I was just going to say, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, we already have an idea of what they were referring to. Now, to say 10 women all of a sudden came, I didn't even know that many. I heard one, I was like, all right, maybe this kind of sketchy, whatever. Like you said, Tom, my opinion is saying without 10 women, like say he gonna go there and just do that all the time, knowing who he is, and then to say that they don't know who he is, that's a lie. Because like Hollis has said, these guys, I go down south, and I'm not even going deep down south when I visited my in-laws, and that's like a football town, and they know everybody in the football. Okay, there's no way in Texas, right? That's the South, right? That they don't know who Deshaun Watson is in his vicinity of that area. No way. Now, if he came to New York and you're not an avid football player, he could kind of blend in. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm out there in Houston, I know who this man is, right? So I look at it like this. He's wanted to leave the organization. This is why you got to think about the organization and why he wanted to leave and all that other stuff like that, like Stephen A. Smith and them was all alluding to before, right? Like I said, if he's guilty, then I'll take my humble pie and I say, you know what, I was wrong. He's a creep. He's a savage. He needs to pay. But I'm looking at the situation right now is that they realize he's leaving. They paid him all of this money. And they said, well, this guy's going to, and then the mentality, because they're trying to allude to it that the owner, racist, kind of, or on that kind of terms of like feeling like you guys should just shut up and play. And he's trying to leave. There's like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do to you. The same thing that people talking about with the Governor Cuomo situation right now. I'm not going to dig into that. But people are saying that, you know, Trump and his people going at the governor because he's back in the town and all this stuff to try to help Trump not go to jail, because if he gets kicked out, then he'll be able to, they can't prosecute him because the governor's going, whatever speculatory that you want to say. I feel that all of this stuff against Deshaun Watson is fake. Not fake, I think is a bit exaggerated, because they try to figure out two ways. Most of these athletes, because they don't like the stigma, like Tyrone said, of being called a rapist or a person like, you know, a pig on that level, right? They would try to sweep this under the rug as best they can and just pay people, even though they're innocent, just pay them off, right? So what way but better way for Houston, Texas to get some of that money back? Let him get sued. He pays off half that money, right? He leaves, right? Who knows what these people, the owner could have been like, you guys met with him, say this, say that, I give you this, I give you that, blah, 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 make him get this money, yada, yada. We don't know. And I know I'm kind of going in conspiratory kind of realm, but I do feel that this is a lot of garbage. And for this to come out right now that the man is demanding a trade is just too fishy to be something that was happening. And I always feel like this, right? And I'm not trying to say that it's right or wrong either way. If something like that happens to you, come out right away. Waiting until like years down the line, sometime now, it was a little bit different with the Bill Cosby and R. Kelly stuff because that movement wasn't there and the women didn't have a voice back then. They have a voice now, a strong voice. You're not going to look down upon if somebody did something like that to you. For real. Come out. Say it. Don't wait until this guy's about to leave and try to defame his character by saying that. Because if all of this proves that he was innocent and they were lying, I think every last one of those women should go to jail. Every last one of them. And whoever put them up to it should go to jail. I believe that personally. And especially the blackmailing part, Hollis, that you mentioned, because if the person said that and he got that on tape, that person going to jail because that's blackmail. So that's what I'm trying to say. So for me, it's like these people who do those things, they take away the validity from people who actually have this issue happen to them. Because what happens is now you make more people, right, especially the misogynists, feel like, oh, these women are just lying and they're just acting like looking for a cash grab, instead of understanding that there are women out there who are really abused and really taken advantage of. So you're hurting them and hurting their cause by lying. So I hope and pray that he's innocent, like I said, and this all allegations and it's something that they were trying to do to hurt him. But like I also hope and pray that if he did do it, he has to suffer the consequences. Just the same way Myers Leonard had to suffer the consequences, same way with Deshaun Watson. He has to suffer the consequences. If he did the wrong thing, he has to pay. He has to pay. So either way, you know what I'm saying? I hope that the truth comes out. But switching gears to the male versus female type of thing, or let me not rephrase that, men versus women, because I know a lot of people don't like the male versus female. Men versus women. There was an article or a post the other day where they showed this woman from the NCAA tournament, and she showed their facility with the food and the gym equipment versus the men's equipment and facility. So the men had this like big arena area. They got all this like top notch weight room, look like freaking a mini Blink Fitness in there. And the woman just had like a little rack, like about this, like about like maybe like 5 feet high with like 10 pound, 20 pound, and up to like maybe 50. And that was their weight room. And that was it. So it really showed the discrepancy between how they value the women athletes when it comes to the March Madness, because we all know March Madness is big time money. Nobody really watching a lot of the, WNBA games, yet alone the women's college games. I watched some of the games, and I used to watch WNBA religiously when it came out. And I'm not just saying that. I used to do that. I don't know a lot of the new people now, but when it first came out, I was on it. But it's just sad, you know what I'm saying? Because these women are very talented. They do work hard, and to treat them like that, it really just shows like the state of this country and the state, not even this country, the state of the world. Because it's very sad, and I think that's what Kobe, God rest his soul, was trying to do with his daughter and try to push that. And also, like, you look at people like Kyrie and them are really trying to like put these women on a same standard as them and let people say, look, these girls are good, they deserve better. And I agree with them. So Tyler and Tyron, you give your opinion.
Yeah, like I seen the video clip. Like they just had the one rack of the dumbbells. Like that was ridiculous. Then they had like another picture I seen where they had like a couple yoga mats, and they just had a little sign saying, "Oh, it's sanitized yoga mats. Feel free, take one." And then the whole men got like a whole warehouse looking like gym facility. It's disrespectful, very disrespectful to the women. This kind of goes back in a sense a little bit too to the bubble with the WNBA players when they didn't get the same treatment as the NBA players. And I understand what Kyrie was saying, like, the women, they deserve more. They deserve more pay. Like the women doing the same job as the men, and they not getting enough credit. Yeah, I get it. Not that many people watch the WNBA and the WNCAA tournament, but they also play into. They also entertaining their fans in the schools as well. And a lot of the women have amazing records. UConn had their record. Everybody knows about their undefeated streak. I forgot how long it was. Tyron wouldn't know exactly how long the record was because he's more college basketball head. But and like a lot of the women stars, the college women players, they really like on the rise. Like they're gonna be top picks in the WNBA draft. Like they set incredible records. I forgot one girl. I forgot her name. She had tore like her whole ACL, her knee, and something else. Her whole career was almost ended. Now she's back killing for the WNCAA tournament right now. It's disrespectful to the women, and I hope with this stuff keeps going on with social media, they can use it as the platform to show how they're being treated, and hopefully the NCAA would get it together finally, because they're disrespecting the women, and not too many people are gonna take it much longer.
Yeah, Tyrone.
Let's be real, man. Let's be real with this situation. These people that run sports, run specific sports, and I'm gonna just keep it real with you. They don't give a damn about the women's sport. It's plain and simple. They don't give a damn. They don't. They tolerate it. Let's just be real. They tolerate it. They don't care. They are focused on the men. They're focused on March Madness with the men. The men on CBS, TNT, TBS, True TV, any kind of link that you could come up with the men's basketball. The women are just on ESPN the entire time. One channel. You're finding every one of the men game on any kind of Turner channel or CBS channel you could think of. They got Chuck, they got Kenny Smith, they got Greg Gumbel, they got everybody there doing all these games in all these channels. And then you have the women just on ESPN with a couple of their guys, a couple of people, and the Final Four gets unnoticed. Nobody talks about it because they're like, okay, well, UConn, Tennessee, when Pat Summitt was the coach there, they had great teams. Carolina Duke, even in the women's part of it, Carolina Duke is still a big matchup. So like Baylor and all this, we know that it's a little predictable when it comes to them. So I look at it like they don't care about the women. They don't care about any women's sport unless it's tennis. They barely. Thank God for Serena Williams and Venus and Naomi Osaka. So people like that. If it wasn't for that, they wouldn't care about any women's sport. They don't care. Track and field is okay too, but they just don't care, man. I just hate to say it. I don't want to really get into nothing. Of course, we know it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair at all because they're just as great. They're just as much great athletes as the men are. And I do enjoy watching a lot of women's sports. I watch a lot of women's sports, so it's fine with me. I'm cool with it. I like it. I don't watch WNBA and all that as much either, but they're just as great athletes as the men are. And I just honestly think they just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. So I do get that, and it's a business. And let's be honest, the college, NCAA was making billions of dollars off of the March Madness and the men's basketball. Like, women been killing it, they've been doing their thing, but it's not as appealing. Like, there's not a lot to it, so they're going to make the investment towards the men. So I get that, and and I agree with you. They don't care. I used to watch WNBA when the inception of the WNBA season first started. I watched it, and I used to watch it religiously, not because I was to prove a point, because I'm a guy who loves basketball, so I'll watch it. You know what I'm saying? But through the years, after like the Lisa Leslie's and the Cheryl Swoops and all of them like start to leave, I wasn't really watching it like that. But now you got like the Liz Cambridge, you got like you got Candace Parker and all them other cats like that.
Wilson.
Yeah, exactly. I watch some of those games because I'm interested in those players because I see them more. So to be fair, once they start to be seen more, you get that. As far as like the pay and different things like that, I do feel that the WNBA should have, like a standard, like how they have with the G League. Like the women, if they're made it to that point to be an athlete, they shouldn't be like broke when they're not playing. It should be a decent amount of money. Now, granted, I'm not going to expect Candace Parker to make like 40-something million a year like freaking LeBron James, because obviously it's the revenue that these players are bringing in, which is which gives them the right to have that money. So that I understand. Business-wise, you can't say they have to pay them the same, because WNBA women, they don't bring in as much, eyes to the sport or sponsors and, stuff like that. They're not going to get that kind of money. However, they should be making a hell of a lot more, you know what I'm saying? And they should be, paid, to a certain level based on their skill set and based on like the fact that they are professional athletes. And to Tyron's point, if it ain't soccer, tennis, gymnastics, ice skating, track and field, and not trying to be sexist, people ain't really watching it. And it's sad because, like I said, especially basketball it is not as physical like a football where they're hitting each other, and they got women playing that too. But it, like, what I mean, where you can't just sit back and watch it because in your mind you're like, I don't want to see a woman tackling each other unless they're wearing bikini, which is kind of OD because they do have a bikini football league, which to me don't make no sense. But it's sad to see that discrepancy, especially on the college level, because you could still give them a decent facility. Yeah, you might not give them the OD amount of like gym equipment, but to this, I'm literally like, if you see, I'm gonna try to find a picture and post it in this podcast. When I saw that joint, it like they went to Target like last minute and like, just buy that and put that in there. That's how it looked to me. Like that little rack of dumbbells, they just slapped that in there. And at first I thought maybe the girl was kind of trolling, but then when I saw the whole video and she showed like the whole facility, talking about, they said they didn't have enough space, and they showed all that empty space, I was like, that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So they're already kind of being overly sexist and misogynistic with them. You know what I'm saying? And people are still coming to watch them. People are still coming to pay them. Yes, they coming to pay to see like the guys play, but still they deserve their share as well, and at least be treated a certain way, especially for the amateur level. They're not professionals, so especially on the amateur level, they should be treated equally. They should be given the opportunity to have the weights and stuff like that, and et cetera, at least a better setup. And even if they show the whole line of food, the food like somebody like Thanksgiving dinner for the guys, and then some girls show me like some microwave slop. So I don't know, but to your point, Tyron, you're absolutely right. They just don't care, and we have to. It is a reality. I do agree with the players, like the people who reached out, like Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, and the other guys said we got to treat them better and give them more of an opportunity to like thrive and not be so like disrespectful on that light. I do agree with that, but like you said, it's very different.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell, man. That's I just tried to keep it real. Like it's just that, man. It's just as simple as that. You could tell. Look, I didn't even see the video that you're talking about. I'm gonna look it up. But just when you were to basically telling me what was going on, I felt that way when the bubble situation happened. Like they just didn't care. They just had to finish their season because they put the money in for it, and they had to get something out of it. That's all. They don't care. They don't care about the WNBA. WNBA is not that popular compared to the men's game, obviously, and they just don't care. They put up. They try to sound nice and correct about it. And care about it on camera. I'm pretty sure. Not to say, I don't know how Adam Silver is personally, but I don't think Adam Silver watches a goddamn WNBA game. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know the name of all 30 of all their franchises. Honestly, ask me. He must have to be reminded of it.
Yeah. It's not that entertaining.
I'm not trying to hate on him. I'm just telling you the truth.
I mean, look, man, I've been to a couple of games in person. I watched a few. I would like to take my daughter to watch some in person when we be able to go back out. She went to a couple of NBA games already. But like you said, I think that, and I know like Charity, she used to make a joke like, oh, the reason why people to help boost the rating, they have to put on like cuter outfits and having the girls look so like masculine, and maybe not try to make them like wear like no bikini like how the bikini football league is, but make.
Well, you can't do that in basketball.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about in basketball. Like instead of like wearing like those super like old school 2000s baggy like jersey, like make them be more feminine, right? And I can see where she's coming from. And I say what I'm only saying that because, and that's coming from a woman who used to play the game and who's like, yo, to make it more entertaining for myself. Because, you watch the guys game, it's physical, they dunking, they blocking shots, they 360 windmills, they shooting mad threes, you know what I'm saying? Where the girls are pure. Their game is pure or based on like, the whole dynamic of like movement and basketball. Like they play the game to like the real way how it's supposed to be played, and they have girls who do up and unders and reverses and crossing and doing all that stuff like that, and they're killing it. But I just feel that because people don't want to see sometimes the fundamentals, they want to see more of like the excitement and like the windmills and all this crazy stuff like that. And I don't think they want to even see the girls dunking either. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel that, and I don't want to say this kind of like carefully. You got the guys who don't want to see the girls looking extra masculine and yamming it on people and coat, like and one, and they don't want to see nobody doing no 360 with men like Zion, who's a girl. Then you got the women who also don't want to see that, right? And then you got, the kids and people and women, men who don't care. So it's like they have more of a, an issue grabbing eyes to watch their game because you have different opinions based on the genders per se. Whereas the guys is like, all right, the guys are gonna watch the game because they're gonna watch it. Some girls watch the game because they like the guys, they think they're cute, or they're trying to get a come up. And some girls watch the game because they like the sport. You know what I mean? Like some guys, same thing. They might like the guys and they think they're cute, whatever. There's some guys who watch the thing and whatever. So to me, I feel that the WNBA, and that's why I mentioned people like Candace Parker and like people like them and like that Liz, in Cambridge, whatever, right? Because now you see them more. Like they have to like put themselves out there more, and now you bring eyes to it. You know what I'm saying? So now they're like, oh, I know this person. I can relate to this person because I've seen this person somewhere else. And I feel that the NBA is trying to find a way to make money off this brand, and it's a business at the end of the day. And they also got to find a way, but I think they need to promote it a little bit better. They need to find a way to make it its own entity. Like when WNBA first came out, it was its own thing. Like, wow, this is something new. And that's why everybody was excited to watch it. But then now it's kind of like, all right, it's there. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they got to do that, like you said, Tyrone, and hopefully they'll figure out something. But unless you guys have anything else to say, I guess we can wrap it for the evening. I know there's some UFC fights, but we could probably talk about that next week.
Got a big one next week because the trade deadline is, I think, what day
25th.
Yeah, 25th.
25th. So, hopefully we could see a lot of big moves happen.
Yeah, I think so.
Because a lot of things are going on right now. The Lakers, we got to see what they're going to do. LeBron just got hurt today. Yep. So MRI, X-rays came back negative, but, the MRI could always tell you something different.
Say he out indefinitely. He's diagnosed with a high right ankle sprain.
Oh, that's a few weeks.
Yeah, so he's gonna be.
The Lakers could be in big trouble there. Yeah. No matter how big that Western Conference is close, and even with him there, the Western Conference is still close. Like they can drop.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Like what are they at now? Like third?
Yeah, they're third. They're behind Utah and
Phoenix.
Yeah,
so they could drop. They could drop pretty because it's close. Like they're not blowing anybody away. And now they're gonna lose their two superstars. High ankle sprain is at least 2 to 3 weeks. And no matter what anybody says, oh, it's LeBron. He's not. You can't do that with an ankle. Because I've had plenty of ankle injuries. Michael, you've had plenty of ankle injuries when we play ball. And you come back from an ankle that you had, and
it's still tender.
If you want as much as just bend it slightly, you could be hurt again for like another week or two.
But
so.
I'm gonna throw something controversial out there.
Oh God!
Steroids.
I'll say again. No. Hear me out. No. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to say there's certain elements, right? And I'm guys, don't make it like I'm the only one thinking this. I respect LeBron. I think he's a great player. He hasn't been popped for anything. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I've always thought that LeBron takes legal enhancement stuff. I've always said that.
If he could have got the Captain America joint, but the thing about it was LeBron, right? It was saying that there's certain antigens that people take when they're taking steroids and different things like that will give a person a heightened sense of like healing, like a healing factor, whereas like they don't get as hurt as often. So I'm not trying to say LeBron's not going to take that time off, but I'm saying that because I know people like attribute the age and everything like that. You just don't know is what I'm saying. Like you don't know. And I remember that year when he left and he had to go back to Cleveland for
2 weeks. He went to Miami. No.
Thank you. Miami. Yeah, he was in Cleveland. That's what I meant. He to Miami for 2 weeks.
That's fishy.
And then they were saying that when the person went to, because a guy on YouTube, I forgot his name, and I watched his video and they're talking about the whole steroid thing. And then he left. They said LeBron went. Like some guy used to come there named RP, initials RP, used to pick up like the steroids from this person for.
Rich Paul. They gonna say Rich Paul.
Exactly, right. So
there was rumors that he was connected, and they made his name fly under the radar. That biogenesis thing with A-Rod and stuff like that. They were saying that he knew the same guy that A-Rod knew. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. You look at this man. This man is a physical freak.
He barely had no injuries.
He's getting healthier with age. I've seen this in baseball, and it always ends up these guys getting popped for something. Roger Clemens, he got better with age. Barry Bonds, better with age. Like these guys kept getting better with age, and it's always a suspicion. So when you hear these things, man, I heard that, and I just look at his physique, and I always said, and in fairness to him, I always say it's something legal. I never say that he does something illegal. It's always, I think it's just something legal that's not banned.
I mean, most of the stuff could be like, look, taking any performance enhancing drug, I feel, whether it's legal or not. And you know, some people have like TRT, like who they got low testosterone and they get like TRT
that's what
replacement
like,
and stuff like that, which is legal, but it's still ways
legal,
of figuring it out.
Right. Like even though they take enhancements, it's still legal. Like, and I think that's what he takes. I always say that. Like everybody walks around like it's a natural. He's naturally no.
You never know. My thing with Braun, man, like I said, you don't know. My thing is that I got to give the man his work ethic. He is very.
No, nobody's taking
that. No. I'm not saying you saying. I'm just want to make it clear for the audience that we're not taking that away from the man. Works very hard before games. He's working out. After the games, he's doing this thing. And you can take steroids if you don't got the proper genetics and the work ethic. It don't matter. So I'm not trying to say that's the case, but a lot of the stuff that has been shown with him, like especially when he's in Miami, he's looking super jacked, and he was coming back, and like the hair loss and all the other stuff like that. A lot of these different things kind of like indicate, and not hair growth kind of. Yeah, I mean, some of these things are indicators, whatever. But I don't want to get into that. But I only said that to say that because we were mentioning the injury that went back to like the trading. But like you said,
deadline, so we gotta see. They're gonna have something. They're gonna really have to figure something out now.
They don't got no assets, so they.
Because if you say, because when you say indefinitely, that's multiple weeks.
And AD out another, I think AD out like another month, I think.
No, AD has that Kevin Durant situation. If I was the Lakers, he would not play another game this season. Exactly. And that's a bold statement by me, but this has Kevin Durant written all over it.
Exactly. And plus they was on winning anyway, so it might as well just hang it up, let them relax.
Okay, we know what team you guys like.
Yeah. But I mean, to your point, I mean, like it's like this is too similar.
And now, Anthony Davis has always been fragile.
Yeah,
yep.
He's always been fragile.
I think that they should like you said, take heed and like make sure they keep him safe and not do nothing.
Remember,
stupid.
they just signed him to this new contract, so you got to be careful because he's gonna be there after LeBron.
He's your future.
He's your future franchise player, so you got to be careful with these Achilles. Not everybody could come back and do what Kevin Durant did, which is come back and play basically at MVP level until he decides to take another month off. That's what he's doing. Let's take this load management.
But yeah, man, aside from that, I mean, I want to thank Hollister and Tyrone for coming through and, you know, having time to work on this. I want to thank you guys again for listening. Unfortunately, like I said, Malik wasn't able to join us today, but he'll be here for the next one. Please, guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, leave some comments, you know what I mean, so we can tag you guys and, like, you know, give you guys a shout out in the next episode. We greatly appreciate it. We're trying to grow the platform, trying to grow the podcast. And again, if you got any topics or anything you'd like for us to discuss, please let us know in the comment section below. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and God bless. My, 100 days.